Okay, so you know how a compliment from a woman is different than a compliment from a man? And white women are the men of women? That's what I want them to know. When black women compliment my hair, it's not the same as when you compliment my hair. When white women compliment our hair, we usually know it's time to go get it done. And that's not saying you're a bad person. That's saying you're a white person. Thinking about, oh, the men of women, right? And it being like the cheat code for anytime. I saw another video. I saw a video of white woman who wanted to ask black women on TikTok about how to compliment hair, or I don't know what the question really was, but it was a question about how she loved. How do I was just want to be like, look, she don't want my answer, right? But what if a man said this? What's up here somewhere? I don't know. You can't read. Yeah. What if a man said this? And like, it shouldn't have to be, but and then it makes me think about all the. I almost want to say, like, go to my bear versus man video and look at all the comments and even the well-meaning ones. Think to yourself, what if a man said this? Oh, I'm a man, and even I wouldn't want to be in a room with a man, so I totally get it. As a man, I get why would you choose bear? Are you saying, or even like when I say, hey, white women are touching my hair in the office, and you say, no way. No, no, you say no way, and then who does that even? I wouldn't even. That's what, and then that's it. Hmm. Yeah, I just want not you guys, and you guys get it, but it's like it's so easy. It's right there, and then, but it's almost this like plausible deniability hood that comes over of like I'm so busy and tired, and I try so hard, and I'm such a good person, so now I don't need to do anything. Like, ooh. Like, what's with the body entitlement, right? And I would tell you another thing is that people who do it don't realize they're doing it, right? Or they don't real whatever. 'Cause you right? So, similarly, there might also be things you're doing that you might not realize are like that for other people. That's all I just want to impress upon white women. Like when you go out in the world and you think that they think they are being complimentary. Right. Exactly. They just want to tell you they think you look really good in those pants. And sometimes you're like, dang, I never want to wear these pants again. So like it's just thinking about that though, like, oh, I really want to compliment black women's hair. Why? Because you love it so much? Okay. Like so then what does that have to do with me so much, you know? Like, and yeah, I hair compliments are but you guys don't know how to compliment hair, just like men don't. Okay, so you know how a compliment from a woman is different than a compliment from a man? And white women are the men of women? That's what I want them to know. When black women compliment my hair, it's not the same as when you compliment my hair. When white women compliment our hair, we usually know it's time to go get it done. And that's not saying you're a bad person. That's saying you're a white person. It doesn't have to be all the time. We have to be secure enough to go, this is what I'm seeking right now. I can catch myself and go, but what's going to happen after that? What happens after that? WHAT. One of my acronyms. So it allows me to stop, but you have to allow yourself to go there in your head and not just shut it down and be like, nope, I'm better than that. Yeah. What wait, right? There's one more that if you want, it's want. What about now though? That one I'm working with, in terms of, like, 'cause there's a lot of that's how you fight, like, the hyper focus on hypothetical harms, is to say, "What about now, though?" Like, who was harmed and how? Let's heal that person. Let's heal who has been harmed instead of focusing on hurting the harmful. I like that. What about now, though? TikTok, a good TikTok is one that makes a lot of people talk under it and say a lot and have a lot to say. Whiteness, another the Kendras, those situations are rewarded, right? Um, Financially and otherwise. And I like to make content that makes you think, right? I think a good video is one that makes you think, but the ones that make you think, and it's tough for me because, like, I like the feedback, so I'm so used to, and I have to get used to not having the feedback all the time. And Patreon videos, and it's like things are supposed to last a long time, and not just the feedback on the last thing you did. That's also a part of TikTok. Is like with posting anyway. Is that I find myself only looking at the last one. Like that's all that matters. The sirens say, "Don't do that." Um, And once you start realizing, like, that doesn't make any sense, why do I only care about that? And if then you say, "If I just post another one, then you focus on that one. Let me get so that the last one isn't a bad one." What am I doing here? That has nothing to do with my goals. Um, so but I'm not shaming myself. I don't shame myself for those things because the system is designed the way it's designed. I have to accept that first and then go, "Oh, okay. So what do I actually want to do now?" I can be uncomfortable for a little bit because it feels really uncomfortable to stop scrolling and start sitting. Like it feels wrong. It's like a weird, the boring, don't be bored, but it's like that's dangerous. But eventually you find your way into something. There's a lot to do, but it feels like it sucks being human in a very anti human world, but if we could find the magic in being a human and instead of trying to seek this other kind of magic outside of human exceptionalism, being the number one human who can do the thing and no other human can do it. That's anti-human. Valuing what only other humans can't shouldn't be able to do. Ah, you know, thinking like let's go back to hunting and gathering. We still do that, but like there was no hierarchy in hunting. Did I write that here? I wrote it somewhere. There shouldn't be hierarchy in hunting. I mean, and if there is, leave me out of it. I'm not a hunter. I'm a gatherer. And it's not man woman, but we started doing these things, and like hunters are solo mission people, and like that's cool also, and people could be floaters probably, but it's the putting value on one over the other. A society could run on gatherers. I don't think a society could run on hunters, but they're trying to make us all be like grow up to want to be a hunter, and like I won't do that. I like remembering where the things are, or maybe I would be a hunter. I don't know. Depends on the thing. Depends on the region. But we're like, that's primitive. And some reason primitive is bad. Hierarchy. We could just, you do that, I do this. Thank you. Share. It makes sense. You do that, I do this. We don't have to agree and do the same thing and agree. Maybe all the hunters got together and they were like, ugh, the grass is greener, or something. They're just like, I wish I could be at home all day. Said I'm out here, blah, 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 blah. And from then on, meanwhile, they can't work together. When you think about them, hunters and gatherers, it's like they're all just people and just made hunting like such a white man thing. And they still do that as if it's necessary. Go fly to Africa and kill and then put them in their house. And they're like, we're strong because we're okay with killing living things. Mentally strong people are really good at destroying other things. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. This dog eat dog. No, they don't. Actually, that's not a thing that they're out here doing. Dog eat dog. Stop saying that. And even if dog ate dog, what does that got to do with me? They're creating, and I've been working with this idea of manufactured consent, right? And I use myself as an example, and I think that's what white women should also do more as a cheat code. If you want to get people on board, just talk about yourself that time. Like, don't wait till someone else to talk about themselves. Talk about yourself. Just talk about yourself first. But the other version of it is kill them with kindness. What in the white woman? Kill them with kindness? Why? What is with? Can we stop? I hear that on the Housewives a lot, and I'm just like, and I'm thinking you can't do that, but yeah, you can. And white women are like, that's their specialty, is smiling and ushering you into the gas chamber. That manufactured consent. So when I was little, and I'm sure a lot of people did this, my younger brother, I would be like, hey, let me get some of that poison off your lollipop. There's poison, let me just check. There might not be, but I'm going to check for you. And he was like, here you go, please. There you go. Manufactured. I grew up. And also, he realized, you know, we got to grow out of this. But when consequences are managed around you, and that is the whole point, is to create the situation where you're so fearful of stuff that you're willing, and you're at the point now epigenetically and like hundreds of years later, like, please tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do. Because if I don't, then I'm going to go burn in this hell or something. People are going to hate everything. You've been telling me how terrible outside is. All that fear and stuff and shame. And you're afraid of your own shame, because I've experienced that too, where I'm like, I'd rather someone else drive me a place, because then if something happens, it's not my fault, and like I won't be as mean to myself about it. I can be mean to someone else or something like that. But like, I'm not afraid of whatever. I'm afraid of how mean I'm going to be to myself. I can not do that. I can choose to not do that. But once you realize so much of it is actually the repercussions of just you, at this point, I'm like, it's real. And as long as you're so afraid of yourself, then like, yeah, you'll hand over your brain and the control of your mind to a system. It's so confident. Obviously, it knows what it's doing. And that's where I come in to tell you, surprise, you're just stuck with yourself. Sorry. You just gotta hope she's not as mean to you as you've trained her to be. Sorry. No list is going to save you from anything. A list of good deeds, bad deeds, good things to say, bad things to say, good interactions, bad interactions. No, none of that is going to remove you from you. And like this idea of free will, if you have to say it, is it? I don't know. Guilt and shame are different, right? You can feel guilty that you behaved in a way you wish you wouldn't have, or like if you were regulated more, wouldn't have done. And not shame yourself and say, now what does this mean about you? Well, we're going to shut that part down and just go, and that's what happened. What happens after that? We just have to catch ourselves at the action trigger of like the shame and go, wait, that part wasn't, nope, took it a step too far. And it can be that simple. Not easy, but simple. Always comes back to that. And it's been hard for me sometimes to do the work, because I'm like, it's just these couple things you gotta know. Wait, what, want, wait with two T's, like these random words. I have an Excel spreadsheet, and just one column is like 400 things long of just things I've said I want to remember. And that's a good thing, but I have to feel like I can slow down enough, and valuing slow things, um, and the feedback I've already gotten on some of that stuff to figure out what I wanna do with that and not just live in the avoidance of, I don't wanna pitch a book, I don't wanna sell a book, I don't wanna, because I don't have to do any of that, actually. I can just put it in, it's becoming into book form in a way already just by me trying to organize it. I have it organized specifically. And so, like, just a day at a time, right? And another weight could be, why am I triggered? Who Why am I talking? Why am I triggered? Who am I talking to? You know, very good. Very good listening. Like, and all those are really just designed also to slow you down. Really, slowing down is so helpful. But we've really been also taught that slow is bad. Where are we going? You're driving us off a cliff faster and faster. You know, like, hold on. Do I want to do this? And am I projecting stuff onto these other people? Like, if I cancel, if I don't go, this person's going to be so mad. This person's going to hate me. This person, blah, 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 blah. You don't know. They might be wanting to cancel too. They might love you setting a boundary. You might make a whole little thing out of that. But like, you have to get there first and endure the discomfort, the distress tolerance of the moment of being present. Like, that stuff's hard. Feeling guilty and feeling shameful and catching that and whatever, it all doesn't feel good, but it is good. It's good for you, and it's good for the good relationships. That's why it's like, oh, not everyone's gonna love my stuff. Yeah, that's the point. I'm supposed to have good, well, I can't. It doesn't even make any sense. But that's the thing, is like, at the end of burnt out is you're out. And so, you have so much to work with, what's going on and what's happened, but you have to be able to rest, to slow down, recover, and not go right into, and I am telling myself this all the time, because I tried to it takes a long time to heal from that stuff because you're burnt out. You have to, like, start from the soil again and be like, okay, let's find the nutrients. What was good? What wasn't? What did I learn was quote unquote good for me because suffering? I don't know. Because saving from what? It's giving poison lollipop. He's saving you from what? Yourself. Whoa. Is that it, actually? Isn't that it? He's saving you from your sins? Is that right? Body literally was like, stop. And that's unfortunate. But that's how a lot of people get out of cults, is through some kind of medical emergency. And that's unfortunate too. Um, I hate it. But all we can do is focus on recovery then too. Like, that's when I said you focus on healing the harmed, not hurting the harmful. And I do feel like right when you get out, you kind of are just so focused on, like, who caused the harm and not getting better and feeling better, and not victim blaming, but how did you get here? Why didn't you leave? What did you feel you needed? So this way we can look out for that in the future. Not, why didn't you leave, rhetorical, derogatory. And so even just leaving the cult of me trying to fix, just pointing outwards, it's interpersonal colonialism anyway. Like, with my achievements, myself, my body, something I do, I can make this a better relationship, instead of, what? Who am I? What do I like? Oh, it doesn't matter. What makes a good daughter story? When will, like, oh, you're never gonna get that. And thinking that you will, like, what are you looking for? Grieve that. Grieve that goal. And grief is hard and sad, and it's like we position boundaries and stuff as very healthy things to do when we think healthy means smiling and enjoying. Not always. Sometimes the getting healthy is uncomfortable. It's it's sweating and feeling randomly guilty, and you can feel guilty and still that you did the right thing, maybe you didn't do it perfectly. Perfectionism is made up, and it's not really the point. If someone loves you unconditionally, it doesn't matter how you talk about yourself or them. They still love you. So, like the cult of conditional care. I wrote that here somewhere. That's what America is. It's like the core that you just build systems of conditional care. And don't be lazy, don't be outside of this family. Don't go against the family. Don't don't anti-identity, you know. Don't care for the weak and don't look homeless people in the eye. Whoa, start to realize, oh, this person did love me unconditionally and this person did not. And it's you can know those things to be true, but also acknowledging, oh, this is what it should feel like. This is I started to distrust unconditional love and to trust the conditional because that taught you how to toughen, be a trooper, strong, get into business, all the corporate culty stuff. The list of good bad is more secure to me was in versus the person who's just like whatever you do I'm gonna love you, so I'm just and then it's just like I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. Doesn't matter what I bring you, you're gonna be like, oh, that's if you like it, that's great, I like that. It's like, oh wait, I think that was the point. And that's what you can compare things to. And that's what all relationships should feel like, in my opinion. Like that they're not waiting for you to mess up or tallying or having you fill a role. Family systems. That's dangerous. Systems at all. Structure, fine. Multi-generational living. Love that. But hierarchical values? No. Rules for humaning in your presence? For adults? Why do you think we need management? Management has man and men in it. Both of them. That's hunters trying to come micromanage the gatherers. We don't need you here. Go hunt. Leave us alone. I mean, go hunt. Let us focus on the kids and the food and you don't legit. We got to make sure that's what you're doing when you're here, because when we're out there all the time doing all that stuff, we don't know what you're doing. Y'all are just chit chatting and gossiping and yeah, about where we went and the food and and about community policing. Don't worry, we got this. Go hunt. Yeah, management. Even managing people. Get off of me, man. Overseer turned into officer, right? All they did was watch work happen. And think about what needs to be the story you tell yourself and your boss about your necessity there. These people won't work unless we're here whipping them. So because they're lazy, they're terrible. And actually, you should pay me more because I'm going to come over and I'm really going to work them. I'm really making sure that that's a sadist and you're paying him. Managers are just police. And they need to be needed, right? Like, why isn't a cop like, I hope one day my job isn't necessary? No, it's the opposite. They're like, actually, crime is worse. All the lollipops are poison. We need more guns to fight off all of the guns. Huh? We Guns. These people don't work. They're violent. So we need to go and guns them. Give us more money for guns. Look at all the guns the black people have. We need more guns. The crime rates are higher than they've ever been. So you're not doing a good job, is what I'm hearing. We need more guns. Bro, they can't even run. They're so like it's knights in shining armor all over again, but like just a different font. Where are you going? What is happening? They're like, guys, it's scary out there. I put my life on the line every day. Officer safety, I put all of these people in handcuffs all the time. You're the thugs. They make sure we pay insurance on cars with legals. And they can lie legally. They come in and go, well, and then we say, we don't want you around. They go, well, what if someone comes and robs you? That's what like mob people sound like in the movies. Oh, we would hate to see someone come rob this place. That's insurance companies. And then the cops come and they're like, you paid your insurance company? We would hate for something terrible to happen. You'd have to clean up the whole store. What's happening? The thugs in their gang outfits and their guns and their what, guys? It's sometimes seems like guns are the answer to all societal problems. Right. That's lazy work. That's lazy. That's family annihilator type thinking. Just got a problem? Kill it. Yeah. Throw it away. Get rid of it. And to them, prison is like death. They think going to jail is ruining your life is over. Those people don't exist anymore, in their opinion. In white world, once they go to prison, they're no longer people. Hello? Hello? Do you hear me? Yeah. And like sleeping with a gun under your pillow for protection from who? From what? Watching Real Housewives of Orange County, they got security, they got guns. They're like, oh, I'm definitely sending my Kara with a gun to college because we don't have the Dobermans. Who? What is happening? No one's coming into your gated. You got gates on gates on gates. You got no one wants. I mean, I guess they would like if they weren't poor and poverty wasn't a thing, we would really be in a better position. You would be safer. But you know, what is it? You feel guilty for something? And where did the metal detectors in schools show up? Back when and in black schools, guess who needs the metal detectors? Like, why aren't you having metal detectors in school? Kids are the new slaves, that's why. With a gun under his pillow. Like, you are the danger. But it's similar to pimps. So I've read like Iceberg Slim talk about pimping, right? And I feel like white women are like the bottom bitch to a pimp, right? Like they are the main one, like they hold it down and they kind of sell the life to the recruits anyway. Also just probably white schools, just saying. They're not in the predominantly white schools, right? Never have been where they should be, right? Where the guns are. But pimps are selling protection to these girls, but in order to do that, they beat them. They are the ones they need protection from. Just like men in your houses are the ones you need protection from, but they're selling you protection from other men, which won't ever come. The pimps don't protect the women because they're not in the cars with them doing the stuff where the stuff happens. They're just looking out for them, meaning they just know that they're getting in a car. That doesn't actually help them. Just like cops don't actually help us either. They just come report some shit and they beat their wives. And I wonder, the high rates of domestic violence and being a cop, I do wonder about the correlation, and not just like the personality traits of it, but also the dehumanization of being a cop and like how they interact with people is just so dehumanizing. And like how the second there's a civilian involved in your conversation, that's a cult, in my opinion. If they're like regular people and you, that's a cult. Just because their costume has guns on it. Did anybody have hall monitors in real life? I've seen that on TV. And I wanna maybe I should ask this to TikTok. This is one thing I'm curious about. Did you have hall monitors and did you have peer mediators? We had peer mediators. I was one. Shocker, shocker. I was a peer mediator. You like got to we didn't have hall monitors, but did you? And if you did have them, and what is the dynamic that could be involved? Because I do feel like cops are just hall monitors with guns, but like no peer mediators. See, and I feel like that informs a lot of, we had them. So it was like a whole program. We like people from all different grades. We learned how to do peer mediation. Like it was like a cute little thing. We became friends. I would sometimes come out of class, and this way they wouldn't like kids wouldn't get in trouble. I would just go sit with some stranger kids that I didn't know and try to help them work it out. I thought it was cool, and I thought it was, and look at me, right? Obviously serve different purposes, right? But obviously, right? One is kind of matriarchal, focuses on resolving conflict. The other one is about catching people. And it's like, this is what public service could be, this is what it is. And like, what does that do to the relationships of students when you have hall monitors and some of your peers are cops and like some of you can get away with going in the hall because you know the hall monitor? Like, it's just so terrible that they even do that. Similarly, class presidents and stuff with no power, it's the same thing. They're setting us up for this. That you can elect someone, you make your vote, da 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 da. Nothing's gonna come of it, but you feel powerful. You feel like you're involved in something. Superlatives, that's weird. What kind of human relationship fostering does that do versus hall monitors? And then give them guns, lots of guns, and tell them their job is actually really dangerous and people are going to try to get one over on them, and don't believe them when they say you're hurting them. If you put a finger in the cuffs, that means it's fine, it's loose, even though they're saying it's tight, it's tight, it's tight, it's fine. Like all this kind of whatever. Damn, so people really did have hall monitors. I don't remember us ever having. Shouldn't they be in class? It's just such a terrible dynamic to foster. Anyway, sorry. I just like, what are we teaching the kids? What are we doing? What do we think about kids, And I just want to say also, like, criminals isn't a thing, okay? A criminal act is a thing, depending on the time, place, location, blah, blah, blah. An act can be criminal. An act can't be a criminal can't be a person. It's an act. It's a type of behavior. Subjective. I think you're good at your job. The cop on TikTok that would put his lights on and follow as a prank. What? And that's what a prank is, to be honest. That is peak white fun. Scaring people for fun. Making people feel things they don't need to feel is fun for you. Feel your own feelings. How about get into your own feelings? We want to make other people feel bad, good, whatever. Pranks. The plausible deniability of just calling it a joke for fun. You were lying. I was joking. You were lying. You were mean. It was a joke. That was just mean. I don't care if it was a joke. Was it funny? If you have to say, just kidding, do you know what a joke is? No, it's you. You're a joke. Sorry. I, the concept of a prank makes no sense to me. Never really got it. You're just saying things are fun that aren't. It's Monopoly all over again. It's fun. It's a game. Because it's a game doesn't make it fun. Chess doesn't even look fun. It's knowing everything before the things and so many. I'm good. I'm cool. Checkers. Cool. Why do you think you're better than me? Because you can strategize and killing, and it's very, very protect the queen. Because exactly, if you didn't mean you would say, you wanted to say the thing, say the thing. Say it with your chest, as we would say. That's what do what you want to do. Just don't try to make me feel like I'm the problem for not doing the social thing you want me to do. But the thing is, they do want you to feel bad. They just want to also not feel responsible for consequences of that. They want all the things that are happening except for to be responsible for any consequences that come. Because they don't want you to feel, they want you to feel bad. They want that, but they also don't want to be pointed at as a bad person. So they're like, it was a joke. LOL. Get on my face. But I was never good at getting the joke. So I'm just realizing now no one does. They're just saying it. I'm kidding. What's that mean? I'm kidding. That's a white people, white women say that a lot too. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Do you know what that means? I don't. You keep using that word. I don't think you know what that word means. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Definitely normalize making them explain the joke part. Please. That's been my favorite way to. Well, that's the only thing I got because that's what I think in my head. I just say what I think in my head, which is I don't get it. I usually just say like I don't get it. Or if they're like, "Oh my god, it's so sad that blah 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 blah," and a bunch of funny like laughing emojis, I'll be like, "I don't get it. Is it sad or funny?" The emojis confuse me. Because it's weird that you would be like, "Ha ha 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 ha," so sad. Those are not those are conflicting. That's not how jokes work. And so I'll just be like, "That's not how questions work." Or you're bad at asking questions because a lot of times they just ask questions at you. So are you saying blah, 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 because I'm thinking blah, 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 blah. That's white lady speak. I don't know. Stop it. Cut it out. You know what I mean? Definitely make them explain it. I think so much you would get so much further than try to explain why they're wrong. Like accept what they're saying. That's the Darzo that I do. Detach, accept, rehumanize, zoom out. Darzo. Detach from it. So it's like look at it for what it is, detach the like loaded language, accept what they're saying, like, okay, it's so sad, it's so funny. Keep them human. Know that you're talking to a person and just be like, I don't get it. Help me. No, I just like to deal with literally what they give you, right? And nothing more, nothing less. I'm not talking about this is what this is racist because I mean you're white, so it's different. You can have a different type of conversation, but I do think that is a go-to for me. Always has been because it's all I got. Even when I was younger and people said stuff that I could tell they were making fun of me, but I didn't get it, you know. So I didn't really understand the point. But I guess that's because it's not funny to do that. But that's just me. I don't think it's funny. Back in 2021, when I first started this kind of journey, I made a post saying, my shower thoughts after shower thoughts is like at fancy hotels, you can tell I said, you can tell the world is meant for white people because at fancier hotels or these high end hotels, they have the rain shower things. And like black people would never be like, yeah, that's good for the high end should be rain shower because we don't wash our hair. Sometimes I grew up, especially when I had straight hair, I never washed my hair. I only went to the salon to get my hair washed. I didn't even have shampoo because I didn't wash my hair. So the idea that rain showers are like for the fit, the good, the hot, it just says that's not for black people. Lord. So apparently that post found its way to some area of the internet, and people have been commenting on it, and that's a post from 2021. Dion Cole actually also made a joke saying basically the same thing, maybe like a year or 2 years ago. At least I saw it maybe 2 years ago. Um, and I was like, "See?" I was like, "He stole my joke," but it wasn't a joke. He can't steal it. It's just the truth. Um, and so some people, one person was like, "Dion Cole rip off." I was like, "All right." Um, but there's so many people now who found it, I guess, that are just angry. They're just like, "Have you ever heard of a shower cap? Have you ever heard of shower cap? Wow, use a shower cap, shower cap. Wow." And I just think that's such a strange thing to be upset about, and to a way to be upset is to tell me that I can use a shower cap. Also, that's still not a pleasant experience, and still makes my point is like I would have to accommodate myself, which I already do because like I said, I don't wash my hair. But then I also had a bunch of white women being like, "We don't wash our hair every day either." Being like, because I'm saying like white people wash their hair a lot more often. So every day, not every day, whatever. But and I know that, but so many white women just informing me. I remember back then that they don't wash their hair every day, and I had to make a post like, I know everything about you, and that was kind of funny. That was my first apartment. Yeah, I'm a once a week wash, but it's like, but would a rain shower be good if you're not, do you want that? I don't want that anyway. I don't want that. And I think the idea that those are fancier says is just anti-black in thinking. That's fine, but people are just yelling at me about shower caps. And I think that's weird. That's a weird response to what I said. Yeah, they don't want to engage with my point. Yeah, and but there's like this, ha 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 ha, don't you know that it's got to be Christian at this point. It feels very Christian to me because I've never experienced anything like that from the white side of my family. Just this obnoxious, like, ha ha ha, you're dumb. Why would me being dumb be funny to you? But it's like how making fun of black people is funny to white people. Why is that funny? I don't get the funny, you know? Very demeaning. Yes. Very looking down and laugh, but it's the glee that's so creepy to me. Because to me, it's like if you don't know something, what do I do? And I think you guys don't know a lot. So I tell you about it. And so that's why when someone said, "Have you ever heard of a shower cap?" I'm opening the door to maybe inform, I'm like, no, never. And like, did you think what I was saying was that if I'm just washing my hair anyway? I don't, like so little consideration for the fact that if I already know what a shower cap is, then why am I saying this? Yeah, you're right. It's just like they just don't even want to engage with it. They have put a stiff arm, and that's why I realized like there's this belief that defense is one necessary in whiteness, but also sword and shield must both be a part of it. That's how you defend yourself with a sword and shield. But the shield is the defense. A sword is offense. They put in killing someone in self-defense, still killing someone, right? Like, but we're like, well, it's not bad though, because it was in self-defense. No, it still traumatizes like killing. It's still killing. Hold on, guys. Hold on, and like, yeah, she just wants to be offended. And even if that were true, that I just wanted to be offended, and this has nothing to do with race, why engage with it? That you didn't announce it, then you must not have ever known about it. Yes. Yes. They just want to be offended. Yeah. They're offended that I'm potentially offended. I'm not even offended. Offended is a luxury. Being offended is a luxury. That's just sitting and having feelings. Okay. About something someone else did some other time you wouldn't have done. Okay. I'm offended. When do you hear us be offended for real? That's what white people think. But like that whole if I didn't announce it, it isn't in existence is so prevalent with whiteness. Like the amount of women who think I have never experienced or like I couldn't be know about autism because I don't talk directly about it or make it a part of my introduction to every topic. As a black autism, because that's what white women do. They announce themselves so often, white people, as a I think that's Christian too. As a Christian, there's this like label above everything else, right? Um, because it's dehumanizing, but it's dehumanizing in a way you accept as a Christian, right? Because we say as a Jewish person, you say a Jew, but it's like tongue in cheek, it's like reclaim. Um, and they want to be offensive too, because in order to offend, like you have to really care about the random opinions and feelings of strangers to be offended, right? This person yelling about shower caps. Am I offended? I'm more offended at that, but they don't care. Like they don't see themselves and they don't see themselves. They don't see themselves. And this makes them see themselves, especially as a white person. And they're like, hey, I don't see color. Sorry, that's not my business. I do. So, yeah, the colorblind thing is really dangerous. When you're colorblind, you don't realize that your hood is white. So your victimhood is white, your motherhood is white, your sisterhood is white, your hood is white. Whether you're colorblind or not, I can help. I'm trying to remove the colorblind glasses. They don't like that. I'm trying to wake everybody up from this dream of colorblind American success. What do you mean? You don't see color? What do you mean? Because what that also gives is like, I think black people are just as good as white people. Now imagine a man said, I think women are just as good as men. Would that be what you wanted? You know? Would That's not what I wanted. I don't want you to think I'm just as good as you. I don't think you're good. We forgot the point that I have my own thoughts about the situation and I am not trying to be seen in your eyes as just like you. Eek. We don't want that. I want representation that white people get. I want a sense of safety, but you don't even feel that safety. And that's what I, learned by listening. That y'all don't even feel safe. So it's like, it's a loss for you too. That stable job, I tried that. Loss. Nope. Didn't feel stable. They can fire you whenever they want. And then you'll have a hard time getting something else because whatever. And like the security they sold you is not. Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like that's like when they go in my comments to say, sometimes I agree with you, sometimes I don't agree with you, but blah blah blah. Whoa, 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 whoa. As a white woman, I don't agree with everything you're saying, but I do get and that's on you. I'm not gonna say that, but it's just like, who asked for that? I'm sorry. Who what? I didn't hear that. Like you're not listening, but they just think you want what they have. What do you have? No rhythm, no leg washing, no hygiene practices, no sense of self. It's all no stuff. Oh, I don't want the no stuff. Buttoned up control of everything. Like you're so far up there, right? And it's all wobbly, and so you're so fearful. But really, you should just climb down. Climb down from your high horse, your gift horse. We're not talking about horses again. But there's a lot of horse stuff in whiteness too, by the way. Horse bags. Hermes is a horse. The horse bags. Hermes. Horse girls. Right. It means expensive. Hermes, the Birkin bags. That whole company is horses. It's a horse. It's equestrian. And so there's a whole little MLM structure and mentality around Hermes bags, and I discovered online this get offered bags to buy, and this bag, and they're like, this one is supposed to be like a horse bag, like what they feed the horses in, and it's their purses, and they refer to the bags as like her. I got her like men refer to cars and boats and stuff. She is so cute, and like they hold them with like a white glove, and they're thousands of dollars. And if you reject to buy one of these bags, it's like a mark on your record, and you might not get offered the chance to purchase the bag you want to buy. I don't know. It's a really strange dynamic, but it's like a whole industry and culture of horse stuff. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. It's how Trojan horse thing happened. Yeah, people will buy ugly ass bags they hate, but convince themselves they did it for good and these are investments. And it's a bag that is just open. There's like a thing, and they paid thousands of so if it gets stuff on it, it's real bad. I've seen people who have little um ponchos for the bags in the rain. Yeah, you get your one chance, and yeah. In the end, it only counts if you go in the store and talk to somebody in person. If you just buy online, then that doesn't count towards your points towards offerings. And then you post it online and you tell everybody, this is how I got my bag. And they won't, and you don't get to pick the color. They tell you, here's what we've got. It's just, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it for you guys. That's what I also learned about this purity thing. They the purity poverty scale is like, I'd rather at least who's washing, who has more joy in their life on a regular basis. Not the purity people, I'll tell you that much. And poverty was created, can be solved. Purity is a whole internal out, right? Poverty is outside in. So it's just different. But we don't know what's going on inside y'all's houses, really, except for what we knew back when and what our people had told us. But we're focused on us. So it's on white people to talk about this stuff. And I'm learning, and humanize yourselves in the process. There's a lot going on you guys could talk about if you were, you start with the vulnerability. Don't wait till another group is vulnerable and then be like, well, now it's time to talk about my trauma. Hold on. Use your space for that, Masking is interesting, because you don't know. There is a level of like, for your own good, for safety reasons. I'm like, is it safe? Like how I started this with like being a vibrant person or like wearing a loud color makes me feel seen in an unsafe way, but also seen in a safe way. What's going on there? Let's get into it. That's a self thing we could all be doing. But like what's actually good for us? What's not? Blending in, fitting in, culture fits. That's a cult. Culture fit. That's the coin to toss out of just like, here you go. Heads or tails, we'll just say culture fit. We don't like this person. It's a vibe. They're not dedicated enough. Black. They black. So get your cats, be a spinster, get your crafts and your cats and whatever you want. And like, that was all used against you to make this seem like a grandma hobby. When did grandma learn how to do it? When she was a grandma? Probably before that. Grandma existed before she was old, Yeah, like caring is for the weak. And that's why self-care is so foreign to whiteness, and including showering, because that's what dirty, weak, impure people do. Wash themselves. Yeah. It's yeah, empathy as weakness, caring for someone, like the baby wants you to pick her up. That's why you can't pick up the baby. That's what she wants. She's manipulating you to picking her up and caring for her, and get she wants your attention. Give her the attention. Baby, baby wants to give me your attention. You're gonna spoil her. What? Yeah, babies are not manipulative. It's impossible. They can't manipulate, but that is what the white training says. And I just wish, it's not about getting rid of these books of how to train a child or train up a child or whatever. I mean, we should get rid of them, but it's like, why are you listening to this man? Because he's confident? That's what I try to work with people, because there will always be people confidently telling you to do something harmful. It's about regaining that self assuredness and self security, that if something feels bad, it's bad enough. If something feels like white lady and that person doesn't identify as white lady, they're white lady enough for me, to be honest. Do they care about how I feel about the thing? Why are they speaking? What is important here? Not just like the list of good and bad doings. Yeah, manipulation is a learned behavior. Right, and people pleasing can be manipulative, but that's because you were learned that that's how you're supposed to be, is manipulative. You are teaching, it's like the projection. I guess that is what that is, that's projection. Yeah, so loud, so confident, so wrong, but as long as it's in a book, and that's where the worship of the written word comes in, it's like, it's in a book and a lot of people bought it, so it must be good. Oh. Turns out, just because it's a best-selling book, the Bible, doesn't mean that it should run your life. The structure of a book I like. I like the idea in dealing with a book in terms of the structure. Love that. A system of book, a book telling me what to do, a bestseller. That's a whole different value system. Bestseller, blah, blah, blah. Book? Okay, I can do that. And then once you look at that Bible as a book, right? The answer book. People write books. L. Ron Hubbard wrote the most. He's like on record for the most book writing. Scientology. Just because it's not in a book doesn't mean it didn't happen either. It's like not only things in books are valuable. It's like the other way to abandon your own agency, right? It's easier to say, okay, but this list is the real truth. And everything else that you just said about me hurting your feelings doesn't really matter. About the harm that I'm causing by doing this, reasons. Reasons. Reasons are just reasons. They're not justifications. They're just reasons. When people say everything happens for a reason, I believe that. But so there was a reason that happened. Okay. It happens for a reason, and God has a plan in our least favorite phrases in the English language. It's just thought terminating cliches. I just connected that, actually. And then the second question people ask is the Left Behind series biblically correct? What? What in the white? Biblically correct. And then it says the AI will bring the answer. No, the Left Behind series is not biblically correct. It is a work of fiction that presents a dispensationalist view of eschatology, a specific interpretation of end times events and the rapture, which is not supported by all Christian traditions or biblical. Y'all, are you okay? No, you're not. The Christians are not okay. Y'all with your end times. Because that's all that matters, I guess, right? In Christianity, it's like heaven or hell, end times, the binary, end times are coming, end. But, like, these people are writing books. That was the point you were making. I got you guys. Sorry, I got really thrown off by the whole a series, volumes 1 to 16, and people wanna know the order of them. I need them to pick. I don't even the anxiety. They're like, "Have it. Live it. Be anxious." How to read Left Behind series books in order. What is going on, guys? In order, given orders. What is with the order? The lists. 16 books. You guys are every time we talk, it's like, you're enough. You're enough as you are. Radical thinking, radical acceptance. Try it, practice it, because oh my goodness. Because also, I would say, okay, think of like you aren't also, I guess, with the individualism of whiteness, like you don't consider your ancestors really. So, like, I would be thinking if I were you, like, if I'm pretty good and I'm the best of all the white generation. So if I feel this shitty about myself and I'm so terrible, God, they must be super, super, super terrible, right? But you're not thinking about your actual lineage very often, I feel like, except for like future, your kids. You're not like you have, but like if that was true, like you're not connected with that you are an embodiment of your ancestors also. Like it's not that. You're like just an eggshell and you're just like fill it with only good things only. But you got egg in there. There's a whole egg in there. You got to cook that. We deal with that. And it's like, no, there's no egg. What are you talking about? It's purely air inside. Whoa. Yeah, it's like very secretive with the grandparents, right? But then they're like, but know your forefathers. Who? Your forefathers, all the presidents in order go. What? Like, it's just so weird. Even thinking like I went to my middle school was named Benjamin Franklin, and the other middle school in town was Thomas Jefferson. And we just knew this. This is our lives. We went to BF, they went to TJ. You think you found a coconut tree? Exactly. They really do. Like, forefathers, you're not my dad, but that's paternalism. It's one of the tenets. Paternalism. And then they just treat us all like we need to be managed. We need an overseer because the Lord of the Flies will happen. See, because of this book, this other white guy wrote, there'll be Lord of the Flies if we don't if there's no parents for all of everybody. They're just gonna be so primitive and we'll just be fighting and fucking and stuff all the time. So don't we gotta be there with guns to make sure to help everybody, protect them, serve them, shoot them. Oh, not that last one. Yeah, sometimes. White people need to talk way more about the books they read growing up and like go back to them and read them. You know what I mean? I feel like we could do a lot of healing if white people just accepted their actual history, like literally yours in your life, because we're not reading those same books and we don't believe them the way you believe them. Oh, yeah, they want the end times. So in a cult, you'll see like people want them because it's like they've been, whether they actually want them, whether they really want to Heaven's Gate, all these places, they want it to be proven that they are right and they're willing to suffer, obviously, for that righteousness. And that's what is taught to you in Christianity is like suffering, righteousness, that's proof. And that's like this thought that people won't hurt themselves to prove a point is like, that's all it is. That's like the whole point. Um, and so they will usher in whatever confirms their persecution complex. Like, why were we even reading things like this and Lord of the Flies and stuff when we could have been reading All About Love by Bell Hooks? It's hall monitors versus peer mediators, right? It's fear and order and law and order, and I order you, and the order of the books. And then there's like living, village. Y'all want a village, but you can't own a village. You can't have a village. You live in a village and you are a villager. You can't. I think white people have so much they could get into here, right? It's like, and talking about race is not talking necessarily about Black people experiencing racism. Talking about race is talking about you. You're part of this too. You're here with us. You talk now about your thing. We're talking about what it's like to deal with you. And sometimes white people think, okay, if I talk about race, it's like I got to talk about how much I like Black people. What? No. Nope. It's realizing how much you didn't know because you were removed from Black people, or like what you thought that would make no sense and stuff like that. People find that interesting. That's a good story. They need a label of victim. They're either got to be a victim, a victor, or a villain. But even when they do that, they say that sarcastically, like they're the villain in someone's story. They still see themselves as like an anti-hero. I was like, whatever. But like you could be all of those, none of those. You could just sit down. You could just read a book. You could, don't write a book. Start reading Black women books. I'm reading Dawn. I think it's Dawn. I can't remember which one of the Octavia. It's a trilogy. And I did want to read that one in order. I looked them up just to make sure I was reading it. It is Dawn. And the way she writes, I'm like, oh, this gives me like Jordan Peele vibes, but like obviously before and in writing. And this is really interesting. It feels like things have deeper meanings, but it's just like this other world she builds. And it's so good. It's just, we could have read that. We could have read so many Octavia Butler books and felt seen and heard and stuff, but no. We're like Greek mythology, Lord of the Flies, things that are difficult and boring. Like, but why is it curriculum? Like, why do we have standards? Standardized things to read that don't help. What did Greek mythology give to us? It's just some white. It's white men in Rome. They love the white men. Just, I've said this before. Just be gay. Just be gay. Roman Empire. I think about the Roman. You in Rome, I think you just see like gladiator and shiny muscle people with robes on or whatever. I don't know. Gives a hunter, that's fine. But like, leave me out of it. Why am I reading about Oedipus? Why is that required reading? And so when we say things like a good school, that's what I'm talking about. Like, what did you learn? What did you learn in school? And like even these like politicians and stuff, these old white men leading the country, like what did they learn in school? What's a good education? Why do you don't know all the presidents, so you didn't have a good education? What did that? How? What? Huh? Blech. Book smarts, street smarts, Greek mythology smarts. What lessons are you learning? It's literally just like memorization of names that are hard and stories that are terrible. We didn't even do anything good with the Narcissus story. We just kind of like, and now we're back here. It's like it's in the names. I hate it, because like I said, I'm an overactive listener. So now I get to just really read things and be like, but that's a stupid name. It's kind of telling you right away. World civilizations. What is that? People. People. People and places. The good earth, I want to see. See, when white people talk about white people stuff, it's interesting to other people. Sad, but it makes sense because we deal with you and we see the results of this stuff, like in how you act. But you can't heal it till you hear it, I guess. And this is why when you have worship of the written word and you look at these books, it's like, interesting. Who gets published? Why? Who's reading? What? Like, and that's why I felt so strongly against like book writing, I think, for a while. But it was just because also dopamine and long-term projects and like setting myself up and I'm scared to succeed at it or whatever, all that stuff. But like also because I don't want to be on bookshelves when this could also be on bookshelves. So I probably won't be on bookshelves. Doesn't mean I won't write a book. Doesn't mean you won't be able to have it on your bookshelf, but it's just like if I'm on the same bookshelf as this, it needs to be because you're doing the deconstruction work also. And then like, but I wouldn't want to be in a bookstore with like Rachel Hollis and self-help and like me. But doesn't mean I'm not gonna write a book. So I don't know. I do have a lot of words. I write them down. They go as pages. That's a book. See, I'm still processing some of this, but I do think white people could get over the purity testing. There's like so much for you to work with, even just in the purity testing of yourself. Once you like release the shame, because if you're not shaming you, like other people can't really shame you. Shame is a self thing. It's like accountability. You take accountability. You can't really hold people accountable. You can remind them that they said something, but like that doesn't, you could take accountability, take responsibility, stuff like that, but you can't make. But similarly, it's like discipline and all that stuff. Discipline. You have discipline. You don't discipline someone. That's also weird. Especially not other adults. Right, Fran? She says, snore. All right, guys. I'm going to do something else now. Get up out this seat. This was fun. I really enjoyed this. I feel like I learned a lot about white people over here. Which is kind of like I come to be like, it's like we're teaching each other. You're teaching me, and I like that you guys, I do think you need to know, like, you're not the only ones feeling this, but Black people aren't the ones feeling this. So get into your white culture. But once you get into like the in there, you'll find some good stuff too. Maybe. I don't know. So we'll hang out. That's good. So that's good. I definitely like this Sunday vibe here on Patreon. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. That's my pump up song for you guys. Okay. Until next time. Bye.